Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. This is the November meeting of the Fire Commission. We do have a quorum. We have our liaison, Lieutenant and Commissioner Dallas Kelsey, myself, Commissioners Corneffel and Kovalak have been missed. So we do have a quorum, and so I'll call the meeting to order. It's 6 o'clock. Let's change these first two items. Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance first, and then we'll go to the agenda. So if you all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll move to the agenda. Are there, you have the agenda before you. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll move to the minutes. I think you've been sent the minutes, but there's a copy in front of you all. Give you a couple minutes to go through them, and when you're ready, I'll need a motion to approve the minutes.
We also have the minutes in there from October?
We do?
Yes. Yes, there's two packets. We got October.
Well, October, that's the one we should have.
October, and I'm sorry, and September's.
Oh, we have, did we not approve?
September's was missing from the last packet.
Oh. Oh, okay. Let me look at the September minutes.
I think we can approve them both with one motion.
Okay, I agree. When you're ready, if I could have that motion.
Move.
Oh, second.
Been moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's move on to the expenses. Chief, I just have two questions. I think probably we've discussed this before. I can't remember. The budget looks in decent shape. The maintenance on the vehicles I see is well over, and I can't remember we discussed that last time.
I'm going to talk about that under the equipment, under the chief's report, but
Okay, so you, okay.
we've got that. And our uniforms, we're over on our uniforms on the first
Rusty,
page.
can you talk more into the microphone so they can pick up on television?
Yes. We're over on our uniforms. It's on the first page. We're at 161%. Our uniform budget for the men is $500. And for the men to have the gear they need for the hospital, for the calls, we go well over that easily. We've been trying to watch our budget, but $500 for 20 guys doesn't last very long. And so that's an easy one to go over. The other one that we're over is our education and training. We budgeted $1,500. We are 200% of that. And that's, again, that's required training. That's a good one to go over. The more educated and trained our firemen are, the better it is. So I think in the future we'll try to increase that amount as well.
Yeah, these don't seem to be an overreach problem. They're more of a budget problem, not budgeting the right amount.
Correct.
Well, and I think mandates are going more in the direction of more education rather than less. More
Yes, and
training rather than less.
I just got an email tonight from the state of Michigan, and they're revamping the entire education, and officers, chiefs, everybody's going to have to start testing and doing yearly tests and yearly education. They're requiring more and more of us from the state every year.
And you're gonna discuss the expenses for the equipment under your discussion item there.
Yes.
Are there any other questions now at this point on the expenses? Okay, we'll just receive the report. Let's move on to your report, Chief.
Okay, discussion items. Our run reports are there in front of you, as you could see. Again, getting busy. Every month is getting busy, and I think this year we have surpassed where we were at last year at this time. Looks like we're going to break 700 calls this year. And each year we go up more and more. Once in a while we'll go down a little bit, but the average is to increase every year.
What is there an increase in as far as, I mean, is there a certain area?
Rescues.
I know, but what kind of rescues do we talk?
Our population on Groseal, we have a lot of seniors, and seniors is a large portion of our population. We're doing a lot of calls for strokes. In the middle of the night, we've talked about it before, broken hips. Our seniors get up to use the bathroom, they trip on a throw rug, and next thing we're being called out. We have one of our seniors that has a broken hip or an injury. Just everything that we have with geriatrics is a large part of our call basis.
There were two items here that on the rescue. Look at the third one down. Is that a repeat situation, or that first time? The third one down on the.
Is that the one on Grow?
Yep.
We've been there before with that individual. We run into those frequently as well.
Young, older?
Younger.
The only other one is I see that we have a cardiac arrest. Were we able to get there in time, or?
Unfortunately, that one, we're pretty sure the person passed in their sleep. We got there, they were, we did not know how long the downtime was, so we continued it as a full arrest. We did CPR. We used our Lucas machine, which worked beautifully. We continued CPR with that, and we did oxygen. We did the other things that we were supposed to do, and we transported to the hospital. Unfortunately, if they're down for longer than 8-10 minutes, you can only hold your breath for so long without going without oxygen. Your chances of coming back are slim. And on that call, we had no idea how long the downtime was. I believe it was a son or nephew came in the next morning to check on us, and that's what we found.
So you weren't able to revive?
No, they were gone well before we got there.
Okay, the rest of these look like they're sort of the normal stuff we get every month. Does anybody have any other questions on it? Okay, I think we're all set on that.
It does show you had, at least you're listing here 60 calls in 1 month. That's quite an amount. And I just want to say, from the public point of view, we're grateful that you guys are all there. And I'm noticing, I guess I'd remind people, if they're watching, pull over when you hear the sirens. You know, when you see the lights, hear the sirens, just pull over to the right so that they can get by.
Yes, there was a good article about that in the Groseal Grand. And when you see that ambulance coming down the road, if it's coming in your lane, pull to as far to the right as you can to give room for that ambulance to get around you. If it's coming at you and you're in the opposite lane, pull over, because that ambulance may have to go into your lane to get around a car. And you never know, the person that could be in the back of that ambulance could be a family member or a loved one. We need you to pull over and allow as much room as possible for that ambulance or that fire truck or that police car to get by.
Always a good reminder. Anything else in your report?
We're going to talk about the equipment. We have gone through quite a bit of repairs on the fire trucks in the last couple of months. Bills are now starting to come in on those. We had to have our pump rebuilt on our engine too. Our ladder truck just got finished. Our suspension on that had rusted out over the years, and it was to the point where it had to be replaced immediately. That bill came back, and that was actually a reasonable bill. The company that did it, the owner lives on the island. He did us good. He treated us right on that. But it's just it's normal maintenance for these vehicles. It's nothing that's out of the ordinary. They just, as you use them, they do break, and that's what happens. And we try to keep them in tip-top shape. If there's a fire, if we need them, we want them to be working. We don't want them down.
This, would you classify this as sort of normal wear and tear, and this was the time it didn't just hit?
All of the repairs were normal wear and tear, and we're just keeping up on the upkeep. The next thing I want to talk about was the carports. The contractor did come out Tuesday and started on the next phase of the carports. So we're happy to see that getting moving again. It's been a 2-year project.
So we did come now.
They've come out and they've started their work on it. And they're hoping to be done with the carports by the middle of December, roughly. And we're hoping so
Soon
too.
weather,
Assuming the weather
yeah.
cooperates, yes.
good. Well,
Touch wood.
that's nice to hear. We've been worrying about that for a couple of years now, hasn't it, Ben?
Oh, yes, we've been working on it for a long time.
Okay, well, that's good.
Another item is the foam. Our B foam that we use in the fire trucks, the state came out, said it contains PFAS, and so it's a hazardous material. We had to dispose of all of our foam. We had quite a bit of foam in stock that we had to call an environmental company to come out and remove it. And we had foam on the trucks as well. That foam we use when we have a fire at a boat marina or an airport, things where there's lots of gasoline. The foam works to smother the vapors of the gasoline to keep it from reigniting. And it's important when we run into a fire of that nature. Right now, we're working on mitigating all the foam that had the PFAS, and once that's completely out of the trucks and been flushed, it has to be carted off with a hazardous company. Once that's all done, then we're looking for an alternative that is PFAS free that we'll be able to use for the fire trucks.
I think that's really important because they found that those PFAS actually can get into your water supply, the water stream. So that's not something we want to, it's something we definitely want to avoid, adding to that. So.
It's something we're doing. And again, it's not cheap.
No, but it's right.
It's another expense, and it's something that we have to do, and it's a cost of doing business, yes.
Yep, it's the cost of saving lives, right?
Okay,
I got-
anything else, Chief?
Now, I got several more.
Okay, go ahead.
Code Red, the police and fire were using that to notify the citizens in the township of weather, storms coming, different events. The township has now adopted it, and they're going to use that platform to notify the citizens of Groseal of different various things, elections, all across the board. they had been using a separate application, and once they realized that Code Red could do it all, it just made a sense, and it's a savings to the township that we already pay for the subscription. So now we can use it across the board for all the different departments.
So they're getting rid of Grosse Hill Connect.
They are getting rid of Grosse Hill Connect, and everything now will be through Code Red. Code Red, I think we have, through the police and fire, 12,000 different subscribers. So it had a large subscription base. It made the most sense to continue with that.
So
And-
if I can just add, Brian Friel sent out a message today to most residents. I think it also went out on Instagram, about, signing up. I think, Grosse Hill Connect ends on December 12th. If you have a problem, though, apparently you have to sign in or log in to Code Red to actually change if you want additional notices. And if you're like me, you've forgotten what your login was, you just signed up for it years ago, it just kept going. Brian says give him a call, and he'll help sort it out.
He did send out a link tonight.
Yep.
That you can click on. He's trying to make it as easy as possible for everyone. And with this app, you will be in the know. You'll have everything you need.
Just like with Grosse Hill Connect.
Just like, well,
Probably easier.
yeah, it's less duplication, so it's less apps on your phone. It does the same thing.
That's what I mean. But I mean, it's replacing Grosse Hill Connect, and you won't notice the difference because.
It's doing the same thing. Why pay two companies when we can just pay one?
Good.
Another item that we were talking about, one of our bills at the township is going to be going up for cleaning the police and fire department. That's going up roughly $200 a month. Our Goodfellows mailing has gone out, and we're starting to get donations back already. And again, we want to thank the citizens of Grosse Hill. They've always been very generous. That money that they donate helps the people here on Grosse Hill. That's one of the requirements of our Goodfellows, is that it helps families here. So everything that's being donated will help families here, will help citizens here, and we're very grateful for that. And look for those mailings if you see them.
You might want to mention,
Mr. Chairman, please speak into the microphone.
sorry?
Well, it's because when you're watching this on TV later today, we want to hear you.
Oh.
You'll want them to hear you.
Oh, okay. You might mention, Chief, the involvement of the fire department and the spouses in going out and buying the gifts. I mean, this is really another community service by the fire department.
Yes, the fire department's been working with Goodfellows, I think back since the 40s. And we have Adopt a Family, where we will find families that are in need. A lot of our wives will go out. A lot of requests come in at the 11th hour. Generally what happens is a family will be looking for different ways to try to make this work for Christmas for their kids. They get to the last day and they've exhausted everything that they can think of, and they'll call us in a panic. And we've literally had our firefighters' wives out shopping on Christmas Eve to get the presents for these kids, for these families. They take them home, they wrap them, and we get them back to the family so those kids can have a Christmas come Christmas morning. Dawn, our secretary, she puts a lot of effort into this, organizing it. The wives do. They all get together and they go shopping for the list of families as they come in for the kids. And they really put their heart and soul into this. And they do it just out of trying to help the families on Grosse Hill. So we're grateful to our citizens. We're grateful for the wives that are giving their time. We're grateful for everyone's effort.
That's great.
Couple more.
Go ahead.
Dawn, I was just talking about, she passed her EMT, so she helps us during the day. Mimi's Mission. Mimi's Mission donated some, what they call 911 autism bags. They donated approximately 20 of these bags, and they're on our ambulances. They're in the police cars. They were donated in the name of a firefighter that died early on Grosse Ile, Mike McNabb. I graduated with him. I went to school with Mike. This was donated by another one of my school members. He donated these bags, and they're roughly about $70 a bag in the name of Mike McNabb. What happens is we've got them in our vehicles. Kevin's got them in his. I have them in mine. If we come up on an auto accident and the mother's incapacitated and she may have a child with autism in the back, that child is very stressed, very anxious. In these bags are weighted blankets, there's fidget toys, there's things that help keep them calm. And it's there to soothe them. Some of our adults have autism. And these work all the way across the board for all of that if we ever should need them in a medical emergency. That's what they're there for. Also, we have one new member, James Apsner, and I just wanted to mention that. So that's it for Chief's report.
Yeah, well, thank you. We don't have any action items, so I think at this point we can move on to public comment. I see a couple members from the public. Can you just state your name?
Actually, it's just your name and address for the record.
My name's Kevin Flavin, and I live on Park Lane. First, I'd like to thank the Fire Commission for having an in-person meeting this evening. I appreciate the earlier, when you were talking about people that have benefited from the fire department. They came and rushed me to the hospital and saved my life, and I appreciate that. And the having a family member that's autistic, I think that is a great idea to have that available with you. I would also like to encourage the Township Board to have a hybrid meeting starting next month in December's meeting, where the community can be in this room as well as in their home if they're not able to be here for any reason. And I think that the community has been asking for in-person meetings, and again, I'd like to thank the Fire Commission for doing that and everything else that you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else? Guess that's it. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, that concludes our meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn? Is there anything else? No.
Do you want to come up during the meeting or just after the meeting?
That's fine. I can introduce myself after that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I would entertain a motion, I would make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:24 p.m.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.